Hello, my name is Erdem Topsakal. I'm the editor-in-chief of IEEE Antennas and Propagation Society, Digital Communications. We are here in Istanbul at Istanbul Technical University, and we are with Professor Tuba Yilmaz. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
This is another episode of Research Around the World, and we are happy to be here. Can you please introduce yourself a little bit to our viewers?
Of course. I am Tuba Yilmaz. I'm an associate professor here at Istanbul Technical University. I mostly work on the intersection between electromagnetics and healthcare. I deliver courses, manage projects, try to mentor undergraduate students.
Great. So you mentioned about the research. Can you tell us a little bit about the research projects that you're currently working on? I'm aware of actually some of the research projects that you have been doing with Europe, specifically in hyperthermia and looking at some of the electrical properties. Can you please go a little bit into the deep of the research that you're couple of the different research projects that you're tackling these days?
Yeah, I've taken PI role and co-PI role in several projects. Maybe I can mention like two of the most significant ones. One of them is a dielectric spectroscopy project where we basically measured the dielectric properties of rat breast tissues. This project was funded by the European Union. It was a very prestigious project, very elite scholarship, and produced surprising results actually, and proved that a microwave dielectric spectroscopy device can be used as a real-time diagnostic technology. And the other one is a national project that's funded by the TÜBİTAK, and it is about making hyperthermia devices for breast cancer treatment. You have been also involved partly in it, and that project have also been amazing and really rewarding for us. So we graduated Ph.D. students from there, and now they are pursuing other projects on that front.
Okay. So when you talk about hyperthermia, so are you thinking that treatment or diagnosis, or both?
Actually, the hyperthermia, microwave breast cancer hyperthermia for treatment, that was the focus of the project. The idea was to develop a system that can, focus the energy to the tumor tissue and possibly aid to, other treatment modalities such as chemotherapy or radiotherapy. Whilst doing that, we also wanted to monitor temperature inside the breast. So it was like a combined system that basically brings together both an hyperthermia element and potentially, imaging the breast for temperature distributions.
So you have a working prototype, right, in both projects? Did you build working prototypes in both projects? Or?
For a hyperthermia project, yes, there's a working prototype. For the dielectric spectroscopy project, we have proved that we can, take the on-site, like with in vivo measurements, we can take the accuracy all the way up to 94% if we use the whole frequency band, and we can use a single frequency and diagnose tissue with an 86% accuracy.
So are you working with the hospitals around the university? Any collaboration?
Not on the hyperthermia front, but on the microwave imaging front, yes. We have been involved in several hospitals.
With doctors?
With doctors, yeah, with radiologists, basically.
Great. So my next question is about, you have been in the academia for so many years, got your master's and PhD and all that. You have been also an APS member for so many years. So I want to ask you, how did the IEEE APS affected your career? Those networking events, going to conferences, talking to colleagues. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience in the community, how it helped your own career?
Of course, yeah. Obviously, both of my advisors, Dr. Topsakal, you have been my master's advisor. You're an active member of APS, and my PhD advisor, Professor Yang was also an active member of the APS. And my long-term mentor and now friend, Professor Rehan Bakhtar, is also active member of the APS. So I look up to you and and other role models. And I see that this society have been a great asset for me in terms of like shaping my career. Obviously, the main networking event is the APS conferences. Even as a graduate student, I've always attended to those conferences, and it's been a great asset for me, like in terms of shaping my career. And also, obviously the transaction journal is like the top journal. I always strive to publish APS outlets. Recently we have been aware of the scholarships that's provided by APS, and 2 of our graduate students actually received a research fellowship, and also 1 of undergraduate students this year got a summer research scholarship. So it's been extremely motivating for them and for us as well, because getting these scholarships from an international location is also rewarding, and it's obviously a great asset for us. Yeah.
I see majority of your students are female students, which is great.
Yeah.
You have been in the United States. You're mentioning Tuba was my master's degree student, just for the clarification, and she has done great, and she's doing great. I'm so proud of her.
Thank you.
So you know that it's a bit of a problem trying to recruit underrepresented minorities, mainly female students. They don't necessarily choose, electrical engineering or antennas and propagation. So what is different in Turkey, where actually we see more underrepresented minorities, coming to those engineering fields that we do not have that in the United States?
Honestly, the female students, the undergrad students and the graduate students are relatively low in here as well.
Okay.
But I guess they associate with a female faculty member more. I mean, I am not entirely sure what is the mechanisms behind it, but
I mean, seeing a more role model, like yourself,
maybe.
They motivate them to actually get into the area, because
possibly
they see themselves in you, and
possibly, yes. And also maybe it's easier to communicate maybe with another female advisor. Maybe those are some psychological factors, but also I have to say we have almost no barriers with these students. They can come and talk to me whenever they want.
Open door policy.
Yeah.
This is great. My last question is about, if you have any advice for students who would like to follow your footsteps, pursue a graduate degree, get into academia, teaching professors and all that. I guess it takes a lot of passion and love for teaching to be in the academia, not just loving research, just a part of it, but also you have to love teaching. So what is your take on that? What is your advice to the viewers, students listening, or professionals looking into getting advanced degrees?
So on the teaching front, actually, it is extremely rewarding when you see people, you enable other people develop themselves and then become a contributing member to the society. And sometimes at the end of the classes, they come and thank you. I know it's a great feeling. Let me put it that way. It's a good feeling in terms of helping young people, choose their path, and then seeing them achieve certain things. On that front, it's really rewarding. The teaching and mentorship, obviously. My advice would be for students and young professionals would be, I guess we all have certain artificial limitations in our head, in terms of our own performance or our own potential. I remember people telling me not to apply for certain awards and scholarships because the rate is so low, but pushing through that, going to the other side is an extremely rewarding feeling, and it can happen. So maybe if they have such limitations, such artificial limitations in their head, self-doubts,
exactly.
Maybe they should push themselves to, put themselves in more challenging situations and potentially get the reward.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Great,
you.
great advice. Thank you for your time.
Thank
Well,
you
that wraps up our interview with Professor Yilmaz. And until next time, stay happy, stay healthy.